From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. We are continuing our gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Vanderbilt rape trial. Today, of course, day 2, and you saw Nick Leonardo and Nick Barris bring you coverage of all of the day's events. Basically, 3 people testified today. We are going to hear extended clips tonight from 2 of those people. Most interestingly, we heard from Brandon Vandenberg. We hear from him in some audio recordings with an official at Vanderbilt, the Associate Dean of Students. He interviewed with him. That was recorded, and those recordings were played today in court. So we're going to hear extended versions of that and some other very important testimony. So it's a good opportunity to get a sense of what happened today. We want to start with Chris Conte's report. Of course, he's in the courtroom. This is the report that he filed at 6 o'clock.
Courtroom 5A is where time goes to disappear.
The video system did not record that time frame.
Second by second, frame by frame, jurors watched surveillance video today of Brandon Vandenberg carrying the unconscious female victim into Gillette Hall.
He didn't drop her or throw her on the floor.
He placed her down on the floor.
But prosecutors weren't going to just show what happened. They wanted jurors to hear about it from Vandenberg himself.
We made arrangements for the students to come to our offices later that afternoon for some preliminary meetings to just ask them some questions about the weekend.
As the Associate Dean of Students at Vanderbilt, it was GL Black's job to interview the former football player 2 days after that questionable surveillance video surfaced. This is audio from their first meeting.
Did you witness anyone else make physical contact with on Saturday night?
What he did not know, what he could not know, is what we know now, that a female student had been raped and Vandenberg allegedly recorded it all.
And you did not ever take any photographs of while she was passed out? Not even by the elevator?
Do you swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give?
The day came to a close with Detective Jason Mayo.
That was my first goal, was to find out what happened.
He had the unfortunate task of telling the victim she had likely been raped, a first in his decades-long career.
When we initially met with her that day, she was somewhat confused, dumbfounded, not really sure what was going on.
In this case, time is a measurement by which progress is hard to comprehend.
So that was Chris Conte's report at 6 o'clock. And if you watch 6 o'clock news, that's basically what you get to see. What we are able to do here on the Plus, here on OpenLine, is give you extended clips. We're going to play some extended clips from 2 of the people who testified today. Again, GL Black, Associate Dean of Students at Vanderbilt. We'll have several clips from him, and then later, Detective Jason Mayo. And you heard Chris Conte talk about his testimony today. So let's start with the first clip. This is about a 10-minute segment from GL Black, again, Associate Dean of Students at Vanderbilt. This is some of his testimony today.
Sir, would you please tell us your name and spell your last name just for the court report?
GL Black, B-L-A-C-K.
By whom are you employed?
Vanderbilt University.
In what capacity?
Currently, I'm an Associate Dean of Students.
How long have you been with Vanderbilt University?
For a little over 5 years.
Okay. And were you working in that capacity back in the month of June 2013?
In June 2013, I was an Assistant Dean and the Director of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity.
Okay. Now, just for the sake of the record, is Vanderbilt University located here in Nashville, Davidson County, Tennessee?
Yes.
And for people who may not be overly familiar with Nashville, where is it in relation to, let's say, the courthouse, where we are?
It is in more of the Midtown area of Nashville.
All right. And is Vanderbilt a public or private institution?
It is a private institution.
Approximately how many students are enrolled undergraduate in, say, 2013?
About 6,000 undergraduate students.
Okay. Now, in the month of June, is school in session, as in a regular session?
Not a regular semester. We have a summer session.
Okay. And if you know approximately how many undergraduate students are normally or would be there in like a summer session, June 2013?
That I don't know.
All right. All right. Is it more or less than the fall? Or
it is less than a regular semester, much less.
Okay. And again, if you know, are some of the facilities shut down in the summer, some dorms?
Yes, we have only a few residence halls that are operational in the summer.
Okay. And do any of your duties involve inspecting or going into any of those residential halls, dormitories?
No.
All right. And again, you've told us your position, but what, in June of 2013, did that position involve?
Generally speaking, my office was responsible for reviewing and resolving student violations of university policy, both academic and non-academic misconduct.
All right. And do those cover a wide gamut, or are they very narrowly tailored to Vanderbilt?
It's under the university's policy, so under the Student Code of Conduct.
Okay. Would that include, just give the jury an idea, if you have traffic tickets?
No, not typically. So academic misconduct being plagiarism, cheating on an exam, and then non-academic misconduct, which could be alcohol or other drugs, vandalism, property damage, things like that.
Oh, okay. And how normally are those types of situations brought to your attention?
We receive reports on a routine, regular basis from different entities on campus, and then evaluate how to move forward with the students involved.
Okay. And is this something you do individually, or is there an office?
There's an office that ranges in terms of staffing from 3 to 5 or 6 people, depending on open positions and things of that nature.
All right. And in June of 2013, was a situation brought to your attention involving, among others, a young man named Brandon Vanderbilt?
Yes.
When were you first, and again, don't tell us what somebody may have told you about it, but when were you first made aware of Brandon Vanderbilt and vis-a-vis your job?
I don't know specifically of Brandon Vandenberg, but I was made aware of some video footage on Monday, late afternoon, Monday, June 24th.
All right. And it's late afternoon. Do you have any?
At 4:30 approximately.
Okay. Let me jump ahead here. Did you see any of the video footage?
Yes.
And where did you view that?
I viewed that in my office on my computer.
Pursuant to your position with the university, do you have access to the system?
Yes.
On your computer?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what the system is called?
No.
Okay.
They installed a player on my computer.
Okay, so where you just go to the icon, click on it.
That's right.
All right. And do you recall on the afternoon of June 24th, that Monday afternoon, what you recall seeing?
There were a few video clips that have been pulled that showed a woman who appeared to be incapacitated in some way being carried into a residence hall by several males.
Okay. At the time you viewed that on that Monday afternoon, did you know any of these individuals to recognize them by name or by sight?
No.
Okay. Did you recognize the dormitory, the residence hall?
Yes, that had been identified as part of the video review.
Okay. Is that part of the software
Yes.
telling you where it's coming
Right, yes.
from? Okay. So when you watched this, were you by yourself? Were there other
I was by myself.
Right. I want to ask this. Pursuant to your duties, your job with Vanderbilt University, is that any type of law enforcement position?
No.
Okay. In other words, are you a Vanderbilt University police officer, detective, anything of that nature?
No.
Have you ever worked in law enforcement?
No.
Okay. Or had any training in law enforcement?
No.
Okay. So you watched the video. What, if any, steps or processes did you begin that Monday evening?
Monday evening, I just watched the video. I think it was even after close of business, and it wasn't really until the next day that any sort of next steps were taken.
Okay. Walk us through that then. We're moving on to, I guess, it would be Tuesday the 25th.
Right.
Okay. With respect to what you had seen what did you do?
I had some preliminary conversations with our Office of the General Counsel and some other folks in the Access and Security area in the Office of Housing and Residential Education. And we convened a group of people in the middle of the day to look at the video to try to help identify the students who, or people, I guess, we didn't know that they were all students at the time, on the video.
All right. And did that group involve any law enforcement officials?
No.
Did it involve any of the football administration or athletic department? Well, not sure. There is an athletic department per se, but any of the athletic officials?
Yes. David Williams, Candace Lee, and Kevin Colin from athletics were present at that meeting.
And with this community involvement or group of individuals, were any of the people able to be identified in that session, that meeting?
Yes. I think whoever had not been identified by the Access and Security team was subsequently identified by the athletics department staff.
Okay. And with that knowledge in hand, what, if anything, did you do next?
We made arrangements for the students to come to our offices later that afternoon for some preliminary meetings to just ask them some questions about the weekend.
Okay. And when you say arrangements were made, tell us about that. What do you mean by that?
Well, many of them were members of the football team, and they had a schedule for the summer, and so athletics determined, what time they would actually be available to come over, and that they would make arrangements for them to come over to our office at that time.
Okay, so the athletics people assisted you?
Yes.
Okay. And again, at that time, was there any Vanderbilt University police involvement, any Metro Nashville police involvement?
No.
In the afternoon of the Tuesday, June 25th, did some or all of the individuals that you were interested in speaking to come to see you?
Yes.
And where did they come?
They came to our offices, which at that time were located in the Zerfoss Student Health Center building on campus.
Could you spell that?
Yes, sorry. ZERFOSS.
Okay. Describe, if you could, what that room, building, suite, whatever it may be, is like.
We were in a hallway on the 4th floor of that building, just a long hallway with offices on each side of the hallway going down in an L shape.
Okay. And approximately how many individuals were asked or brought to you?
I believe it was 9.
Okay. And do you remember off the top of your head the names of those 9?
Brandon Vandenberg, Jabori McKenzie, Brandon Banks, Corey Beatty, Jacob Bernstein, Dylan Vanderwall, Chris Boyd, DeAndre Woods, and Mac Prillo.
It's so interesting to see the testimony unfold. We're going to take a break right now, then we're going to come back and continue the testimony from the Associate Dean of Students, G.L. Black. We'll take a break, be back right after this.